Hey everybody, Fisherman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fisherman Log number 119, and as it turns out, I made the right call on taking everything in out of the summer tub. During the day, it's not so bad. It's in the high teens, which is quite comfortable for humans, but I don't think the fish would have cared for it too much. But at night, it does get quite chilly, down into the single digits for sure. As you can see, I didn't quite get everything. There's a shrimp right there, and there's scuds and snails, of course. The scuds are native, so it doesn't bother them at all, and the shrimp actually seem to be doing quite well too, which is rather a surprise. So this is during the day at peak temperature, and as you can see, it's only 12 degrees Celsius, or mid-50s here. Quite chilly for these guys. They probably would have survived, but they wouldn't have done too well. So I'm quite happy I took them all in, and as it turns out, when I first put these out, I just did a scoop of random fish out of one of the tanks. I wasn't really paying attention to what went out there, and unfortunately this female here, which is really colored up nicely, has a bent spine, so I won't be using her for breeding purposes, but she'll just go out into one of my clients. And most of the males as well aren't quite up to standard, but I got a couple females in here that are quite colorful, and I think I'll pull them out and use them as breeding stock, but the rest of them I think I'll just, like I said, put out in clients' tanks and, well, just let them live their lives out there. Someone had asked about the shrimp and how well they did, and as you can see here, there's quite a few of them hanging in the hornwort, and they're doing very well. I actually am very surprised. The vast majority of the females are buried up and are going to have a lot more, and you can see the scuds are moving around, but that's, again, not a surprise at all. I'm quite happy with how well they did, and I'm going to give them a little bit of a shake here just so you can see them a bit more. And I'm not sure, this might just be my imagination, but I think they also picked up a bit of color, well, at least the females anyway. The males usually just stay translucent. Anyway, we'll see how that all turns out. These are the Johanna I've been trying to show you for a few weeks now. Well, I don't clean the tank, the outside glass of this tank, and because it's in the bottom row, that tends to get splashed a lot and I get a lot of calcium stains. So I thought I would clean it up so you can actually see them. And I'm quite happy that this little colony of babies are doing well. And the adults just don't come to the side of the tank. There's no real reason for it. They just don't. And they have their little nursery here and are doing very well. I'm, like I said, quite pleased with that. At some point, I will have to start pulling them out and raise them in their own tank. But for the moment, that's perfectly fine. This is doing as well as I could possibly expect. I'm very happy with how it all looks, even though I have procrastinated now for, well, probably over a year, I think, in getting the rest of the Java fern on the back wall. Everything else is just doing so well. I suppose I will eventually, sometime during this winter, get around to that, but don't hold me to it for sure. And as you can see, the killies are loving this tank. They're doing very, very well. They've gotten over their shyness, well, as long as they don't move too quickly. And I'm going to get an awful lot of males, which is really nice. Well, people want the color, and the females are just olive drab. So it's nice to have a lot more males that way, and I'm quite pleased with that. The other thing I'm finding quite interesting about the killies is all of my colonies are breeding really well. I'm ending up with far more than I thought I would, especially from this one here. As I pan down through this, you're going to see that there is a bunch of, well, right off to the right there, and one right at the top. Those are juveniles that are coming up. I need to pull the Java moss out of here and catch out these guys and put them into the terrarium up there. And, of course, allow these guys to breed some more. So, like I said, it's all doing really well. I'm very impressed with that. These are the OB zebras. They're doing perfectly fine. Not surprising. I mean, they are a good bloodline and they're a hardy fish, so they'll grow quite well. At some point, of course, I'll take them out of here and put them in a larger aquarium for them, but other than that, it's just a simple matter of raising them up. Again, I've been watching this tank. I knew, I think I said last week I was going to take the rice fish out of here and try and get them another aquarium and see if I'll end up with hatches from that last spawn they had. And of course I showed you that buried up shrimp last time, and I wanted them of course to grow up as well. As you can see, I did not get to that. Taking the pond in ate up a lot of my extra time and getting those tanks ready, and I didn't have enough time to do this as well. I mean, I'm still in the middle of house renos and a few other things, so time is short for getting all the projects done that I want to do. I'm showing you this partially because of, well, the leopard danu in there, but also because, well, they've stopped breeding. There's too many males in here now. I need to divide this up. That nice plump female there needs to get in with probably one or maybe two more females and one of these males, and of course they'll start breeding again that way. And I think I'll probably set up a second colony. I don't want too many of them, but if I don't pay attention to it, what happens is I end up losing, they'll stop breeding and I lose track and I don't end up with any breeders at all anymore. So I want to set that up before that happens. I'm really happy with these guys. They're doing ever so well. These are lovely active fish, and as you can see, they're growing quite well. They don't grow anywhere near as fast, though, as the leopard danus. Leopard danus seem to have slightly faster metabolism. They seem to grow a bit more quickly. And the other thing I've noticed about them is, you're going to see a clip a little bit later on, babies are showing up in the tanks where the adults are and growing up there. That has not happened yet with the zebras. I know it can happen, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm kind of curious to see if it will, but I do have some breeding projects coming up. I do need to breed more of these, which is the leopards, and more of the zebras as well. And then, of course, I have to get all these guys into sufficient space so that they'll grow even faster, because I do need them. So this is where I'm housing the adults, and you're going to see right there on the right, that's the juvenile, and it's doing very well in here. They don't seem to bother them, and I suspect where I see one, there's probably more, and like I said, that's just kind of cool. Unintentional spawn there, and like I said, it's nice to see. I can show you these guys, because this is the tank that I had the most trouble with when I had that air pump go, and like I said, lost most of the guppies in here. And this is one of my favorite color strains, and as you can see, I have a couple of nice males, a few females in here, so I am going to set them up for breeding, because I definitely want this to continue. I really do like this line, even though I've said many times that I don't really want to line breed them. I do like this one, and I am going to try and keep it going that way. So I'm going to show you the pond here as we get closer to the end of this. Nothing new other than the fact, as you can see, there's a ton of babies in here. They just keep dropping fry. They're not bothering the fry at all, which is nice. And as I pan down to this side, you can see there's a whole school of them in here. And like I said, they're doing really well. And I'm going to have a lot of guppies soon. But I do need an awful lot of guppies, so I'm quite happy for them to breed as much as they want. And I am going to, again, get around to clearing this up so there's a bit more space for them. This is the only part of this tank that just isn't doing what I would expect it to do. This is a terracotta filter. It also has a peace lily in it, and the peace lily just doesn't thrive. I mean, I have a very similar setup to that with another peace lily in one of my clients' tanks, and it's doing very, very well. It's just not doing so here, and I'm not sure why. And of course, I do need to do something with this. I need to get it further out of the water and hopefully find some more Venus flytraps for that. So I don't think those ones are going to survive. So this is the only spot I have in my fish room where the outdoor tub can go. This shelf is more than enough, strong enough for it. So if that pole turns out to be popular enough for that to happen, this is where it's going to be. And I'll have to find, of course, a new spot for all my food cultures. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Leave comments, let me know what you think of all this, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.